we've managed to sculpt our object, and we've built that sculpt over a series of layers, as we can see in the sculpt room. Now we've finished in the sculpt room, I'm going to jump back over now into the modeling room. And inside the modeling room, we can see here, I'll just lower this down, we have our low poly cage that we began this process with. Now, as I explained during the sculpting stages, each time we created our new sculpt layer, we were snapping this mesh to those edits we were making in the sculpt room. And we kept doing that after every sculpt pass that we did. And we've ended up with something like this, where we have this cage now snapping effectively to our sculpt underneath. Now, it's not going to snap perfectly, as you can see, particularly on the back here. We have these raised areas that we placed in the sculpt, and we just don't have enough resolution here to be able to cover all of those within this mesh. So it's acceptable that we have these little poke throughs here, and we can sort that out momentarily. So with this now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to UV this object, and I'll start that process off by using some seams to mark the islands where I want to separate this object. So let's start very simply by clicking on the mark seams under this UV tab here, and I will just simply go over to an area of here, and I'm going to hold shift down, and you can see that when I do this, it starts to try to select a loop around our object. Now sometimes that's not going to quite work, as we can see here, so we need to click to mark the seam where we possibly can, and then I can individually click by releasing the shift button and start to click to join these up. And once we join the seam up, you can see that our mesh now changes color, meaning that these are now considered two separate islands. Let's have a look now at an alternative. So I'm just going to undo that process. So we were back to where we are. And this time I'm going to use UV path, which is my preferred way of creating these seams. So here I'm just going to click on a point, and I'm going to start to work my way around the object. And when we have these tricky points like here, I can just click around and navigate my way around that geometry until I come back to the beginning, where I'm just going to left click and drag that point back to that very first point that I made, and then I'm just going to hit return, and you can see it did the same thing. It separated our mesh into two UV islands. Now you'll notice that I still have this purple dot here because the tool is still active. So in order to remove that, I need to hit escape. So with mark seams on here, you can see that we have our object. Now I can go around this object now, and I can create more UV shells and start to split this mesh up into different UV islands. So I could, for example, let's go back to our previous technique, hold shift down and click, and this will select all the way around that body, as we can see here, and split the whole of the body, including the legs and the arms, into two UV islands. So all in all, I've got 3 UV islands now. I've got this right side of the body, the left side of the body, and the head that I had before. Now if I roll over the head, for example, here, you can see on the right side in the UV preview, you can see it's trying to show me what that island will look like if I was to unwrap it as it is. If you can't see that, go to this little checkbox here where it says preview islands and make sure that that is checked. And then when we roll over, we can have that little preview of it. So this, in its current state, is a bad unwrap. It's not going to unwrap very well. You'll notice as well that we have a colorized system within the UV map showing red to blue. And in the middle of there, you can just about make out that there's a grey area in between the red and the blue. Ultimately, what we are trying to do is we're trying to remove as much red and as much blue from our UV shell as possible. We want to remove those because those are telling us that we have stretched and squashed geometry in our UV island, and the neutral grey colour is what it considers to be a good UV layout. So if we roll over the body here, you can see those colours still there. We still have our red and our blue, but they are a little more faded and a little less intense, meaning that this is a slightly better unwrap than that head. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue around the body and I'm going to unwrap this object for you to see. So I've gone away now and I've unwrapped this model. So let's have a look at how I did that. You can see I've got this initial seam that I made previously around the neck, and I've also got these body shells here for the right side and the left side of the body. I've also separated the leg by selecting this loop right the way around the leg here, back to the beginning. The same for the arms, right the way around the shoulder, continuing that loop all the way around. Now whilst I roll over these islands, you can see in the preview that my UV island is neutral grey. There are slight tones of blue in there. Generally, we have a nice even grey colour, which means the stretching on this is going to be at a minimal. Now I do need to work a little bit more on these, but for now, in my initial pass, this is looking quite good. So let's have a look a little bit further. You can see with the leg that I have this seam running right down the center inside area of the leg. The aim here is to make sure that I avoid showing the seam area as much as possible. So the outer side, looking at our dinosaur, is going to be relatively seamless. Where I do place these seams, I'm trying to place them where there are natural wrinkle points within the initial sculpt. So going up to here where it says opacity, I can turn the opacity of that cage down and just show you where the seams are in relation to the sculpt. So we can see this very faint red area identifying where our seams are. What I'm going to do is go over to Simple Checker, click on there, and I'm just going to temporarily disable Retopo wireframe. So that just leaves me with the seams visible. And you can see where I've positioned these seams are where there are natural folds in the skin of the dinosaur. That will make it a little bit more difficult for the viewer to see those actual seam areas. It's not always possible on some models to hide them so well, but in this particular case we have a very wrinkly skin on our dinosaur, and that gives me the opportunity to hide as many of these seams as I can along those wrinkly areas. Let's look at the hands here. On the wrists we've got these creases and skin folds which are going across. Your eye won't be able to see those because there are horizontal lines going across, and it will mask that seam area quite nicely. There are natural areas as well where we can place our seams. For example, the transition between the toe and the claw. Again, I'm placing these seams around the foot inside the toes, and I do have to place one on the outside. But as I'm probably going to be seeing my dinosaur from this angle here, it reduces the amount of seams that I'm going to be looking at. Let's go over to the head. I've placed a seam around the eye, and again, if you look at the sculpt areas where I've sculpted these creases, I'm able to hide where my UV shells are by following those natural creases. And again, that transition from this textured tongue to the inside of the mouth, and not forgetting as well that the teeth will be hiding those seams. And of course, underneath, I've decided that I'm going to place the seam underneath the head because I'll be looking mainly either at this profile or these sort of shots here. Again, it really depends on the final output of your model. For now, this will be fine. Okay, let's turn on our Retopo wireframe again, and we'll just increase the opacity of our mesh shells So we see those colorized shells now based on our UV. Now, I'm rolling over these areas, as I mentioned before, and I'm generating a preview in the UV preview window. This object currently is not UV'd. It has UV seams, but the UV itself has not been generated. To do that, I need to go down on my menu on the left hand side here with Mark UV seams selected. It gives me all the options in terms of tools I need for UVing inside of the modeling room. Now I'm going to go to this area here where it says commands, and you can see here that I've got this option, apply UV set. Now before I use this, I have to unwrap. So if I go a little bit further up, you can see I have the unwrap option. So first I need to unwrap, and then I will apply the UV. So let's do that first. We'll click unwrap, and 3DCoat is now unwrapping based on those seams that I generated, and it's come up with this. Now, the reason that this looks quite different to what we've got here, we've got all these little tiny pieces in our UV, which we weren't seeing previously. These pieces here, these long spindly pieces that we have here, are based on our spines and our teeth layers. So 3DCoat has gone ahead and unwrapped these two layers as well. Now we haven't at the moment selected any UV seams for these, so that's what it's gone and done, and it's created quite a messy UV for us. So let's make things a little easier for ourselves and undo that last step. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete these here, and if you notice down in my poly models palette down here, I've already got the teeth and the spines saved as poly models. Now I'm not going to go through this process again, as I explained how to do that in previous videos. So with them saved in my poly models palette here, I can go ahead here and I can delete these to remove them from our selection. So I've just selected them there so we can see and remember what they were. We can see those spines on the back, we can see those teeth as well. And that's what made all those extra islands in our UV. So let's select spines first, and I'm just going to remove them. Then I'm going to select teeth, and I'm going to remove those, just so I have the body selected. Okay, let's repeat now that process. Let's go down to our unwrap. And it was a lot quicker that time because it didn't have to think about those others. And you can see here that we've got these nice islands now, and it's a lot less cluttered. 3DCoat has done its best job at unwrapping these islands based on the seams we created, and it's tried to pack these into this UV space as best it could. But we can actually help it along the way and improve this layout. So that's what we'll be looking at in the next video. See you next time.